What is the college students' level of addiction in social media nowadays? It is alarming or dangerous? Good day! This is Group 4 presenting the statistical paper about a quantitative research on the level of social media addiction between men and women college students in Marikina Polytechnic College. Before we start the presentation, let me introduce the leader and the members of Group 4. The leader of Group 4 is yours truly, Ms. Sornillo, and the members are Mr. Ebio, Ms. Grande, Ms. Manibale, Mr. Ola, and Ms. Villacorta. The Phase 1 will be presenting by yours truly, Ms. Sornillo, and followed by Mr. Ola. The Phase 2 will be presenting by Ms. Manibale and Ms. Villacorta. And for the Phase 3, we have Ms. Grande and Mr. Ebio. This study aims to describe the total grade point average or GPA, determine the level of addiction in college students, and evaluate the advantage and disadvantage. In Phase 1, social media is a software that allows users to communicate and engage one another. It produces, modify, and share new types of textual, visual, and audio information. Social media starts in early 2000s. It refers to software with different use for the users, and some people get addicted in social media because of its features and ability to control platforms in different ways, as well as categorize, label, and suggest existing contents. Many researchers and scholars are examining the effects of social media technologies and applications that various parts of people's lives, because social media technology has recently become an inseparable part of people's everyday activities. Many people, particularly students higher education, use social media. In the last 10 years, the use of social media applications by students has exploded, and their impact on academic achievements has varied. The 10 men and women students in Marikina Polytechnic College make up the study's target population. Also, the sample population of the study is the 10 men and 10 women students of Marikina Polytechnic College.
The independent variable of the research data are the men and the women of the BTBT third-year students, while the dependent variables are the level of social media addiction of the BTBT third-year students of Marikina Polytechnic College. The statistical treatment used by the researchers are the t-test and the one-way ANOVA. T-test is to test the hypothesis, which is to see if there is significant difference between the level of social media addiction of men and women, and also to examine the population based on assumption. While one-way ANOVA is used to analyze the variance and to compare the sample's mean. Stratified technique or strata and random samples is used to divide the population into smaller members of men and women.
Hi, I am Julianne Villacorta, and together with Ms. Manibale, we are going to discuss the Phase 2 of our study about the level of social media addiction among young people, which was developed by Kalsum Subhan Khan, Muhammad Afzal, and Shed Amir Gilani. This quantitative research was developed to identify the addiction level of social media in nursing students, detect the types of social media networking sites mostly used by nursing students, and explore the impact of social networking on nursing students. According to Breyer T.A. and Zavataro S.M. 2011, Social Media and Public Administration Theoretical Dimensions and Introduction to the Symposium Social Broadcasting is the technology that enables social contact, creates a possible alliance, and enables discussion across the inventors. Due to the development of technology in the world, people are now extremely exposed to the technology, the internet, and the social media. We are relying our lives on technology and the internet for our lives, where social media works. That's why, based on the table created under the data collected from the University of Lahore from Table 1 and 4 in the total of 2,701 and 159 respondents said that they spend their time more than 1 to 7 hours and more in the internet. And 112 respondents said that they use the internet for less than hours daily. This data can already say that most of the students are spending their time on the internet, more than spending their time on other recreational activities, which may affect their mind to become more addicted to using the internet, specifically social media. We agree that with the result that social media has a significant influence on young people, which causes the addiction level of young to increase and the time they spend on the internet or social media. The theoretical framework of this study provides 7 good references that are connected to the present study, which commonly states about people, especially students, spending their time using the internet. The overuser of the internet from 2000 to 2009 was 3.27 people, which is according to Mazar et al. 2009. They also provide possible ways on how to educate students on how to control themselves in using social media. Kalyaji, in her investigation paper, determined that the students should be involved in a social stand with each other to acquire improvement and more. To sum up, social media platforms had become more popular because of the pandemic. Social media platforms are a huge hit for staying connected and engaging with some people on the internet. This is to lessen the boredom of people of all ages, both male and female. Some of the media that become more popular with pandemic are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Kumu, and TikTok. Mute 2019 found that females' academic performance was more highly influenced by the usage of social media that of males. Although males, we are more addicted to social media networks, this poses a question to prove the level of social media addiction in Marikina Polytechnic College students. To answer the questions, the researcher came up with the idea of using social media to gather the information of VTBTED students, both male and female, as a population, and randomly selected the sample variable of 10 males and 10 females. With the said course, according to ZAC 2020, social media platforms may seem harmless at first, but they can have significant unforeseen consequences. It can trigger a dopamine response in the brain, a very similarly scenario to that triggered by drug and alcohol use. The researchers want to study the significant differences in the level of social media addiction between males and females among the VTBTED students of Marikina Polytechnic College.
Good day everyone, this is the continuation of Phase 2. According to Agui and Francisca from 2018 study entitled Impact of Social Media on Students' Academic Performance, they use a survey form and conduct a personal administered survey wherein the respondents are the students in Samuel University and Edo State across different levels of studies and departments, and the participants are from 166 respondents. The data gathered from the students in Samuel University and Edo State, the impact of time spent on social media activities and academic works of the students respondents shows that between groups, 299 is the sum of squares, and within groups, the sum square is 38.544 that indicates the students are more likely to spend time in social media activities rather than the academic works. There is a significant difference between social media addiction level in terms of how often men and women visit their social media account though the use of t-test as the statistical method which is used to determine whether it has no significance between the two population, it reveals that there is a significant difference between social media addiction and men is dramatically has a lot difference from women. The mean of men do not surpasses almost half of the mean of the women. Well, the Blanks researcher used the data through t-test as inferential statistic that used to see if there is a significant difference in the means of two groups that are connected in certain ways. It is typically employed when dealing with large data sets. T-test, a hypothesis testing technique that allows you to examine a population-based assumption. Also, the one-way ANOVA or analysis of variance is technique that can be used to compare whether two samples' means are significantly different or not. The additional study from Arslan et al. 2015 entitled A Quantitative Research on the Level of Social Media Addiction Among Young People in Turkey. The survey's research model was used in the study to investigate social media addiction among young people in Turkey as well as the causes of the problem. The respondents in the previous study consists of 271 students between the age of 13 to 19. Their study shows that in age 14 years old, the level of addiction decreased and increased in the age of 17 and up. The level of social media addiction is rising dramatically as the amount of time spent on the internet each day. More frequently, daily visits to social media profiles feed the addiction. While the current study has 18 respondents, which consists of 10 men and 8 women, in the survey question about the time spent in social media, 38.9% answered 1 to 3 hours, 27.8% answered 7 hours and up, and 4 to 6 hours.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Elysse Grande, and I will be one of the presenters for this phase 3. So, as you can see, phase 3 is this will show you how we conducted our study and how we computed using mean, variance, standard deviation, and t-test in our study. These are the results of our study. So as you can see, 20 students we gathered from BTVTED. To be specifically, there are BTVTED courses from Marikina Polytechnic, and 10 participants are from men and 10 participants are from women. So as you can see, 21 years old of men are 6, 22 years old are 4 persons to equal are 10 men. 6 persons from women are 21 years old, and 3 persons from women are 22, and one are 23-year-old. Okay, so those are the breakdown of ages between the two population. And the interpretation of our study here is there is no significant difference between the level of breakdown of men and women. Let's go for figure number 2. Here we'll show you how they often visited their social media profile. So as you can see, in male, there are 2 persons who answered 3 to 5 times. In women, they answered in 3 to 5 times are 6 persons. And in male, 6 to 10 times answered 1. And 4 answered the women in 6 to 10 times. In all ways, most of the men answered always. There are 7 persons who answered always in men. So, as we conducted this study and we continue to compute this study, there's no significant difference between their level of visited of social media profiles, because the first of all, the mean of men are 4.2 and the mean of women are 2.4, and the standard deviation to be specifically is 1.63 for women and men are 1.32. And that interpretation for that, there's no big differences, there's no dramatically difference from the two populations. So we continued as there's no significant.
Based on the overall data we gathered from starting figure 1 to figure 3, as a researcher, we found out based on the data collected that the null hypothesis that the researcher provided is there is no significant difference between the level of addiction of two respondents. The result got the t-value of negative 0.888412 and the p-value of 0.39269, which means that the null hypothesis is failed to reject. On the other hand, it means that the researcher is right that there is no significant difference between the two respondent level of addiction in terms of social media.
And that is our presentation about a quantitative research on the level of social media addiction between men and women college students in Marikina Polytechnic College. Again, we are Group 4 and thank you for watching.